For centuries, we've heard all the stories about secret societies, like the Freemasons, right? All these tales of mystery, ancient guilds, and mystical beliefs. But what if that was all just a smokescreen? What if the deepest secrets of these groups have nothing to do with the occult and everything to do with, of all things, physics? Well, that's the incredible argument we're digging into today, based on a source text that totally redecodes their history.
And this is the big question at the heart of it all. It just completely flips the script. It suggests that these symbols we think of as spiritual or, esoteric are actually a hidden scientific language, a code just waiting for someone to crack it. And the key to that code? None other than Sir Isaac Newton. Okay, so how on earth does Newton fit into this? Let's start with something we've all seen a million times, the iconic symbol of Freemasonry. We all know it. But here's the thing. Our source argues that the usual explanations for what it means, they aren't just wrong. They're designed to be wrong. They're intentional misdirection.
Yeah, that one. The letter G stuck between a square and a compass. It's one of the most recognizable symbols in the entire world. But to get to its real meaning, at least according to this source, we have to basically unlearn everything we've been told.
You know the official story. The G is for God, or maybe geometry. The square and compass are the tools of a stonemason, linking them back to old builder guilds. But the source text we're looking at says this is a brilliant, and I mean brilliant, facade. It claims Freemasonry has absolutely nothing to do with building with stone, and that these symbols are hiding a much deeper, more precise scientific truth.
So if the old stories are a cover-up, what's the truth? This is where things get really, really interesting. The author argues that the entire symbol is actually a compact little diagram of Sir Isaac Newton's greatest hit, the law of universal gravitation.
Let's break this down, piece by piece. Start with the G. The source says, forget God. It's the capital G from Newton's equation, the gravitational constant. It's that one universal number that connects every single piece of mass in the cosmos. Talk about a powerful symbol for unification, right? Now, what about the square? We're told it's a builder's tool, but the source points out something absolutely crucial. In the symbol, it's upside down. And that isn't just some artistic choice, it's a clue. A huge one. An inverted square is meant to represent an inverse square law, which is the mathematical core of Newton's theory of gravity.
And finally, the compass. Sure, a mason uses a compass, but what's its main job? It's for drawing circles. And in astronomy, what are circles? They're orbits. So when you put it all together, what you've got is an amazing illustration. G, the force of gravity, governing the orbits of planets and stars through an inverse square law. It's Newton's entire equation, hidden in plain sight.
And if you're not convinced, there's more. The source points to a famous Masonic riddle to back this up. The riddle talks about letters 4 and science 5. The author says this is a direct, almost mathematical reference to Newton's equation. Think about it, F equals G mm over R squared. Besides the G, you have 4 letters, F, M, M, and R. And you have 5 scientific terms, F, M, M, R, and the little exponent, the 2. It's a perfect fit. So we've decoded the symbol. Case closed, right? Not even close. See, the story doesn't actually start with Newton. The source traces this whole symbolic language back more than 100 years earlier to the world of alchemy and the court of Queen Elizabeth I. This timeline really lays out the secret path of this knowledge. It kicks off with a scholar named John Dee way back in 1564. Then his ideas supposedly get picked up by the Rosicrucians, another secret group. And all of this happens long before Newton ever publishes his famous Principia. The argument is that this wasn't a mystical tradition being passed down, it was a scientific one. This symbol right here is supposedly the origin point. It's called the Mathis hieroglypha. And his creator, John Dee, who we usually think of as some kind of wizard, is presented here as a pioneering scientist, a guy working on a unified field theory centuries ahead of his time. His symbol wasn't magic. It was a diagram of an interconnected system, the moon, the sun, the elements, and fire, or what we'd call charge. So how did we get from Dee's scientific diagram to the Masonic symbol we know today? Well, this table shows the alleged evolution. On the left, you've got Dee's original bits and what they meant scientifically. On the right, the later Rosicrucian version. You can see how Dee's clear scientific ideas, like the moon and sun for celestial mechanics, slowly got transformed into more mystical symbols, like a compass or a Christian cross. The original science was being deliberately hidden. So, if this scientific knowledge was being secretly passed down through the generations, who exactly was in on it? The source claims it was a network of some of the most powerful thinkers of the time, all working together to protect and push this hidden knowledge forward.
And the lineup they name is basically a dream team of the Renaissance. You've got John Dee, the guy with the original big idea, then Francis Bacon, this huge political figure, who supposedly sets up the secret societies to protect it. Christopher Wren acts as the crucial link between them all, and then Isaac Newton comes in as the closer, the guy with the mathematical genius to prove it all.
And Francis Bacon wasn't just some philosopher. I mean, he was the Lord Chancellor of England, one of the most powerful men in the country. The source suggests he used that immense power to create a secret framework, the Rosicrucians and the early Freemasons, to shield this revolutionary science from the church, which probably would have tried to shut it down.
But is there any actual proof connecting Newton to this secret club? Well, the source points to what it calls the most compelling piece of evidence of all, Newton's own words. See, when he was accused of stealing his ideas about gravity, Newton defended himself by saying he had already discussed the inverse square law with Christopher Wren years before he published it. And who was this Christopher Wren? He wasn't just a famous architect who built St. Paul's Cathedral. The Freemasons themselves claim he was a high-ranking member, a master of a major lodge. So you have Newton, the physicist, admitting on the record that he discussed his biggest theory with a master mason before anyone else knew about it. For the author, this is the smoking gun. So if this secret society was protecting the world's biggest scientific secrets for centuries, what happened? Where did it all go? Well, the final part of our source text offers a pretty tough conclusion. The project, in the end, failed. And the reason it failed was the very secrecy that was supposed to protect it. It's this huge paradox at the center of the whole story. The very thing designed to protect the science, all the secrecy, the codes, the misdirection, it became its downfall. The original meanings got lost, the symbols were misinterpreted, even by people on the inside, and this noble quest for knowledge just kind of devolved into a game of secrets. This quote from the source really captures the author's pretty bleak view. The argument is that this hidden knowledge was either never completed or it just got lost over time. And the result is the world we have now, where neither mainstream science nor the secret societies really have the ultimate answers they claim to. And this really is the central warning of the whole story. It poses a huge question. What happens when science is forced into the shadows? It suggests that knowledge doesn't just hide. It gets corrupted, misunderstood, and in the end, it becomes powerless. It becomes just another belief system, another set of secrets to guard instead of a truth to be shared. And so the source leaves us with this final, really powerful thought. It's a massive argument for transparency, for open debate, suggesting that the biggest secrets of the universe, well, they can't be kept in a locked room. They have to be tested and argued about and shared out in the open. It's a fascinating and, controversial take on a really old mystery, and it leaves you wondering what other secrets might be hiding right out in plain sight.